we've got a very special guest, ladies and gentlemen. I like to call him an actual journalist in wrestling. So there's a lot of ones out there that claim to be, but this one actually is. Ladies and gentlemen, from Fightful, it is Sean Ross Sapp. Sean, welcome to the show.
Sean, before you say anything, how many asses can you kiss tonight, Daniel? My God.
Well, he hasn't brought up Earl's name yet.
I did early.
He did. He already touched on that too. Sean, sorry, I really am. Go ahead, sir. Welcome to the show.
Listen, I glad that I was able to emerge from this fabled green room that you all are talking about. I really appreciate the half-eaten beef jerky, the tea with a drink left in it, and the loose plastic fork to eat the jerky with, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Sean, can you do me a favor? Look, you've been doing wrestling and covering for a long time. There's a word I'd like you to know. Kayfabe, brother.
Oh, no. Listen, I got to expose everybody. I got to expose everything. I will say this. 7 grams of protein to 40 calories. I applaud you on that. You're giving me healthy food here.
Okay. He's a body guy. So Sean's a body guy.
I'm trying to be.
Is that healthy? 7 grams? I don't know the ratios.
Beef jerky's all right. Yeah.
I just eat it. I don't know.
All right, for our next guest, just want you to know we ran out of shit, okay, and we just knew we were bringing on. We just knew we were bringing on Sean, so we were like, "Fuck it, he'll eat the rest."
Yeah.
So sorry, buddy.
Poor Kyoto.
Yeah, it's like Kyoto's gonna be pissed. Don't worry, we got some snacks in there for him. I'm sure he'll enjoy that.
Yeah.
I'll have to send the intern out to the store later then.
All right.
So Sean, how in the hell are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. It's always a good time when I get to wake up and cover wrestling for a living. I get to learn about it every day and then share what I learn about it with other people. So it's a good gig to have, and it's a good life to have.
You know, I've been excited to have you on the show, but ever since we made the announcement last week, man, I'm just gonna put we're just gonna put it out there.
Yeah, put it out there, man.
The trolls that just came at us,
oh man,
like, unreal. Like how dare we have you on? And and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like this, you're an actual journalist that reports the industry, and what do you put out there? I'll have to put over Pro Wrestling Insider too, but you guys are the only two that actually legit put out real stories that are the real thing. Like you don't. And here's the other thing I'll give you kudos on, and I know this from I've heard that if you may know a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of stuff you don't report because you're told not to report it, and you don't. Like people don't realize that too either. That's what's awesome about you.
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily consider myself a journalist. And I'll explain why. I never call myself that because people, instead of considering it a job title, they think it's like some self-appointed, self-righteous thing. It's just a job title. Like if I was cashier, clerk, same thing, whatever. I don't care. I don't care if you call me like internet dipshit. I don't care about that. Like whatever the job title is, whatever. I report news that hopefully is as accurate as possible. But considering that I run the outlet that I work for, I also get to deem what I think is necessary or not necessary. I'm not going to report somebody's pregnancy if they're like seriously ill or something. I ain't putting that out there. I'll give you an example. Mia Yim has posted publicly that I found out about Keith Lee being really sick at one point. And to me, that's not mine to put out there. And you could argue that none of this stuff is mine to put out there, but specifically, that's kind of where I draw the line. Mojo Rawley has said that too, about where I found out and I just wanted to know how he was as opposed to putting that out there. To me, that's theirs to reveal and all that. So drawing that line has helped me an awful lot, at least with talent, because they know I ain't in their bedrooms. I don't care who's dating who's married to who's splitting with who, any of that. I don't care about that.
You're a liar.
Yeah.
Listen, except for Jimmy. I'm always I'm across the road with the long lens pointed at his bedroom window. Like, what's going on in there? Nothing. It's nothing. Absolutely nothing's going on in there.
Sure it is.
But
Eating ice cream.
Here's the thing.
Popcorn.
No, it's not ice cream. It's my Kit Kat bars, ice cream bars. With it,
No, what it was a paper plate wrapped in aluminum foil from the catering you took from Elimination Chamber. A week later. A week
Yes.
later.
Yeah, had to nuke it when I got home, but it was still good. It was
There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I mean, listen, you're naturally gonna have trolls. It's just I think a lot of them don't expect to get a response, and I'm all too happy to respond during most of those because you never meet them in person because they also realize how ridiculous they would sound in person if they came up to you and they're like, "Well, I don't like you because you like a different wrestling show than me, or you didn't like something that I liked, or something like that." My line of thinking is don't ever talk to or about somebody unless you expect a response. And that's just how I always operate. Anytime I write a story, I expect to hear from the person I'm writing about because it'd be kind of weird for me not to.
So,
I
Sean, I
kind
get
of
it.
find it interesting that
Go
you
ahead, Jimmy. I'm sorry.
answered it that way and your response to some of the people online.
Mhm.
In some regards, I think you and I have a similar mindset that
Sure.
when you do get that response, and it's kind of like, okay, you're almost like me. I have this weird sense of humor, and I tend to try to amuse myself
Yeah.
at their expense, and they don't get it. They don't understand that I'm having fun here. They think, "Oh, look, I got him all, wound up and everything." You don't ain't got nothing. You know what I mean? I'm just having fun here, and at your expense. I
I
kind of
would
feel like that's what you're doing too.
Yeah, I would not be online if I was angry about something. I would probably walk away because I'm not going to allow somebody to see me in those moments. But
Mm.
ultimately, again, the only time I have ever interacted with a person like that, someone at a show yelled, "You blocked me on Twitter," and
Yeah.
somebody right next to them said, "He made the right decision." And I was like, okay, this person has been sitting next to you all night, thinks I made the right call. Plus, I don't know if you can be a grown adult man and call somebody soft for blocking you because why do you care? If you're, how can you call somebody else soft for blocking you when you care at all? Like, come on. If
Right.
somebody has, I think JBL had me blocked for like 8 years. Well, that was his decision. He unblocked me. Cool. That was great. But like, I'm not going to sit there and form a parasocial relationship with him over it and like make it my personality to hate him. I think that stuff's very weird.
So, Sean, I get excited about mostly all of my guests every single week. And I got
Sure.
excited about you. The same thing. I'm
Okay.
not lying to you. But there's something more exciting about you that I am excited about. And you know what that is?
Oh boy.
No,
What
no,
is
no.
it?
Well, it's getting done with this episode, so I get the trolling off my fucking feed. Jeez.
I had to message Jimmy and be like, Jimmy, I'm going to explain to you why this one person is saying this thing here. And I was like, man, because like some of the conspiracy theories people have cooked up, I had people thinking I did coke. I've been straight edge my whole life. Like I've never drank. I've never smoked a cigarette before.
Now, Sean,
Like it's not.
I saw the video. You vividly did coke.
Yeah, I mean,
It was Coke Zero. It was
Zero.
Coke
Coke
Zero.
Zero. So that was a thing that became a rib, like that people like one of my friends would always buy me a Coke Zero, and they're like, "Here for your Coke problem." But like, listen, my dude Daniel can at least back me up here. Allergy season in Kentucky sucks
Oh,
real bad.
100%.
And what I don't like to do is this on stream.
Yeah. blow
Oh,
your
we
nose,
love it.
yeah.
We love it here.
Right.
So
We
I
love it here.
lean off camera, or did up until that moment, blew my nose, and you would see me like Kobe the tissue across the room. But man, people love to think of any reason to try to pack somebody up and get them out. But sorry, they're gonna have to do a little better than that.
Okay, Sean. No, you're good. And you know what? I was playing. I knew you didn't or weren't doing that. You would be a complete moron and an idiot to do that on air.
There are some morons who do stuff like that on air.
I knew it wasn't Sean. So here we go. If you had one last time to say one thing to the trolls out there, please tell me what it'd be. This is your last time. You can say it now. Give me something good, goddammit. it.
I am truly sorry that your parents raised such losers.
Man.
Wow. I like it. Anything else? you wanna
Yes,
add?
I am truly sorry that your life is so sad that your sense of community revolves around hating a wrestling writer. Because you got to find somebody way more important to hate on. You
I
got to
know.
do better.
All right, guys, isn't this crazy to y'all? All right, we've had guests and gotten troll stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna lie, this was the worst.
Yeah,
for
it was.
sure.
It was.
For
and,
sure.
and you're a writer and a
Yeah.
reporter or whatever you want to call yourself. But what I'm saying is, my God, what are you doing to these people? Nothing.
Oh, they say wild stuff. Here's what I always say. If you find somebody that is specifically like obsessive with me, if they're tweeting about me a lot, all you got to do is slap SAP or SRS into the little search bar with their name, and some crazy stuff will pop up.
Really?
And occasionally, if I see that, it's going to pop up on my For You tab if you type my name in enough in your tweets.
All right,
Yeah.
wait a minute. Wait a minute. You see, here we go. What is For You?
On
Oh,
Twitter. So
My God.
it's what they show me instead of the people I actually follow. It's the two tabs up there, and I hate it because I'm like, I don't want that. Why does that default? So if you're typing my name in there enough, if you're typing Fightful in there enough, well, my name on Twitter is Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful.com. So it's going to show me tweets that are associated with my name. And I think that they believe that they can say out of pocket stuff and never get a response. And then when they do, and listen, if you're a bigot or if you're a jerk, if you're out there celebrating a wrestler losing their job, like if you're in the replies of me saying so and so got released and you're like, man, they had it coming, I'm probably going to block you because that's a terrible thing to do. These are people losing their jobs, almost always losing their childhood dream on top of that. I think it's really weird to celebrate that. So I just do myself a favor and block those people. And usually they don't take it too well.
I think you're smart enough to understand, just like anybody else, that nobody celebrates these moments when people,
Sure.
everybody gets future endeavored, whatever you want to call it.
Well, he's just
But
reporting it, right, Jimmy?
But you're just
Yeah.
reporting it, and it's an unfortunate part of any business, not just
Of course.
business.
And there,
So-
and there are
but
there are
can't-
times where
sorry, Daniel,
No,
but
you're
they
good,
can't differentiate the real world from
Exactly.
because, wrestling is portrayed, we're supposed to suspend disbelief, but not when it comes to real situations like that.
and there are
They
times,
see
yeah.
you all on TV or wrestlers on TV, and they think of you as TV characters instead of the human behind the TV character. And that can prove very frustrating when I have met and spoken to so many of these people and I see them losing literally their dream job. And then people are being terrible in the replies. And I'm like, well, I don't need somebody like that. I don't want your $5 if that's the case. I don't want your clicks or anything like that if that's the way that you act about somebody having the world turned upside down. It's just not for me.
Yeah, and sometimes business is business. So business decisions get made. I mean, I've seen it in WWE, we've seen it at TNA, we've seen it even in AEW. So sometimes decisions are made. They may be good, they may be wrong. It matter. The fact of the matter is that they were made. It sucks. Like hopefully we should encourage them to, look to it. Work out another opportunity or go for another opportunity, whatever, and then celebrate that, and then hopefully sometimes if the dream job is WWE, they do a Drew McIntyre, they do a Cody Rhodes, and they get back to there at a higher level than they were when they left. And it's like, okay, well look what they did. They went out and showed that they made the wrong decision. Or even a Matt Cardona who hasn't been back yet, but yet is still out there,
Killing it.
reinventing himself and killing it. Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah, it's just there's always a paper trail of either weird behavior or at least them being a jerk. What I used to do if before when likes were public, there was a thing called Mega Blocker. And if there was like a racist tweet, you could hit a button and it would block like everybody that liked that post. So
wow.
if somebody's
What?
out here like liking like really racist, bigoted stuff, I'm like, don't need you. Goodbye. Now you can't use that though because likes aren't public. So
Oh,
would
and Lights
totally-
Republic. I got it. Okay.
yeah, when likes were public, but it can't do that anymore.
Sean, I bet you would totally destroy my Twitter if you got hold of it, wouldn't you? You know,
Maybe. Oh my gosh, probably.
Oh my
Probably.
God.
Because like that's the thing. If I even get mildly weird vibes from people, I'll just block them. I got no use for it. They can go follow the Fightful account. Because what you'll see sometimes is people be a jerk to me, and I'm like, why do you follow me? And they go, just for the wrestling news. And I'm like, well, that's cool. We got 2 Twitter accounts for that. This one over here's got like 200,000 followers. Go follow it. We got a Facebook. We got a TikTok. We got an Instagram. You don't have to have me in your life if you don't like me. And that's
Speaking of your the website there and the wrestling news, how many people's on that team in the Fightful team? You quite a few, right?
Yeah, I think so. The last time we had invoices, I ended up doing like 40 invoices there.
Wow.
And yeah, and I mean, I guess I was the second person hired. I wasn't happy about the first person hired. But it started off as like me and two guys that got hired, and then a couple people behind the scenes, and it grew. And then finally, like last year, we hit like 40 different people. Now they're not all full time or anything like that, but people who get paid from Fightful, about 40 people.
Gotcha.
All right,
You're gonna eventually your future endeavor Joe Pearl, right? Because
Fuck, I hope. Listen. Steve Macklin might future endeavor him from this world one day.
yeah, well, maybe might happen.
I mean,
unfortunately, I'll be like Jimmy's from his neck of the woods, and I'll be up in Joel's neck of the woods in a week or so.
yes.
So I have a feeling I'll have to run into him. I ended up sending you a picture of me and him, and he forced me to take it a day in Vegas. Yeah. So anyway,
I bet he grabbed you by the collar and was like, "You better," because he's so intimidating.
he's so intimidating.
But listen, Steve Macklin's not allowed to bleed everywhere now, so he's in TNA, so he's got to go get that. He's got to quench that thirst for blood elsewhere, and I recommend it be with Joel Pearl.
That's a good. I like that. I back that idea right there. Yeah.
Now, Sean, who was the first guy hired at Fightful? Let's go back.
So I worked at Wrestling Inc. And it was the biggest wrestling news website in the world. And a big part of that was some of the coverage I added to it. And I decided to move on. And a big part of my excitement for moving on was I no longer had to do a show with Vince Russo, who I was assigned to do a show with. And I negotiate terms with my new business partner who hired me. And he goes, "Oh, by the way, I've also hired Vince Russo to continue doing the show with you." And then I said, "I am going to need about $5,000 more a year to take this deal." And he agreed to it. He didn't know that I was looking to move away from that, but that's who one of the first people were. And fortunately, it didn't last long. But I don't know. Jimmy might actually know one of the other first people, Showdown Joe Ferraro. He was up in Canada. He did a lot of MMA coverage in Toronto, actually.
You're muted, Jimmy.
You're muted, Jimmy.
Once again. Oh, here we go again. Yeah.
Jimmy, how old are you again? Just kidding.
Yeah.
Just put it this way.
Old enough to spank your ass, man. But anyway,
like you always
is
like to
that
say,
a
Jimmy.
threat,
not in that way.
or is that just?
That's gonna get out there. Wow, there's gonna be some clickbait on that one.
You might like that, Jimmy.
I got that long lens ready. I told you.
He's got the lens ready. No,
That's going to be my lead story on Fightful Select.
There
Oh
you
God,
go.
please
There
don't,
you go.
Sean. Please.
Hey, it gets clicks. It gets clicks. What
I don't give a shit. Not about my ass.
Literally.
Speaking of which, you know, reporting stories on wrestling websites, I find it interesting because, you know, you guys are reporting stuff you are privy of, you know,
Sure.
some news and that sort of stuff, and it kind of delves behind the curtain, which a lot of people want to see. And now we have this show coming up with the WWE, where they take you behind the writer's room and that sort of thing. And all of a sudden people are saying, well, we don't want to know that stuff.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. You want to know all the shit that's going on over here, but that stuff you don't want to know how the show is actually produced and put together. You just want to know the dirt,
Yeah.
the supposed dirt. You know what I mean?
Well, I was excited about the trailer because it confirmed like 5 of our stories because it had a big whiteboard. It had a big whiteboard. And as the WrestleMania matches change, as they will, people were like, "Oh, you got this story wrong." Then a big whiteboard comes out and it's got the matches that we had reported were being discussed. And I was like, guys, just because they're on that board does not mean that they're happening. Like they're going to change things as they happen. I know plans change is an easy cop out, but I've gotten rundowns for Raw that were different 15 minutes later after that happens. That's just the nature of pro wrestling and all that. And the way I say is I never know anything until somebody tells me. I'm not there unless I witness it in person, which I have a few times. I'm not going to know this stuff. So I got to make sure people are trustworthy, wonder what their agendas might be. And that's something I've had to already dig into about this show, because I do have friends on the writing staff, and they're like, well, I wonder how much of this they'll try to change to make themselves look better. Or I wonder how much of this they'll have to omit because there were wrestlers that saw that whiteboard that were not on WrestleMania. And then they go, what the hell? Why wasn't I on WrestleMania when you all were planning for me to be on it in December and I was completely healthy? What changed? So there's going to be politics at play. There's going to be a lot of that. They've got to cover this entire Rock thing where he was there and then he apparently called up Cody and Cena the day after Elimination Chamber and was like, my work here is done. And like, will we see what happened there? Like, there are elements of that I'm very interested in. And I often have people ask me if I can still enjoy wrestling as a fan. And I do, but I enjoy it in like a little bit of a different way. I enjoy it in the way of like, I want to find out how things work because I want to learn as much about pro wrestling as I can, because I'm not actively doing it. Like I can give you an example. Jimmy, when we were in the media box at Elimination Chamber, I grabbed you and I was like, why is that thing over there smoking? Because I had seen it happen a million times and I had no idea why. I was like, Jimmy will know the answer to this. And he was like, oh, that's the pyro load. That's why, that's where that is. And this is why it's so loud. And again, I don't know these things until somebody tells me. So I'm excited for that show in that sense, because I've never been in the writer's room. I've never been in that room where that whiteboard is. So I want to see the process of that. Then I want to ask those writers, did you all work any of this? Was any of this for the cameras or was it all legit? Like, that's kind of how I enjoy it, is just finding out the how and why.
Yeah, I find that you the way you brought that up, asking them whether this is a work or stuff like that, because watching sometimes when I watch LFG,
Yes.
it makes me sit back and wonder, and I go, okay, come on, wait a second
Yeah.
here. You know what I mean?
Well,
it just
for
I don't want to
somebody-
say it. I don't want to say it, but
for somebody that was there most of the time they were filming wrestlers on Netflix, there's a lot of stuff that may or may not been planned. So yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
John, I have one question, and then we're going to send us up to our third count because we have so many questions.
Okay.
Are you friends with Uncle Dave?
Meltzer?
Yes.
We're cordial. Like, we don't interact much. Like, we've
Perfect.
emailed
Perfect. Stop
here
right
and
there.
there.
That's perfect. Stop right there.
wait, why
Right
do you want
there.
him to stop?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No. Because that's where we're going to start count three.
Okay.
Okay.
It's called a segue.
Yeah.